Hello and welcome to Free Flight. This tutorial is aimed at treasurers, accountants and anyone else involved in setting up Free Flight from the outset. We're going to be focusing today on bank accounts and payment methods. Without further ado, I'm going to go over to the finance section, open up the left hand menu, other login menus and go to finance. Now out of the box there'll be some bank accounts set up for you. Let's take a look at them. And you'll see that we've got a petty cash account, a current account, a PayPal account. A quick word on PayPal account. Some clubs are in the habit of drawing down every penny that's received into PayPal on a regular basis. That's fine, and we'll show you how to handle that within the payment methods in a few seconds. Other clubs, like ours, just treat it as another bank account. We always hold a balance in there, and whenever we need to buy things online, such as printers, inks or paper, we normally pay for it out of PayPal and then just draw down occasionally when we get too much in there down into the current account. There are facilities within Free Flight to allow you to move money between the accounts, and we'll come on to that in a different tutorial. Again, credit cards, there is often a delay between money being paid into the by credit card and it appearing on your current account. So you can again have credit card payments go to the credit card bank account and then use the facility to move money around from the credit card account to the current account if you so wish. Other clubs might just want to put it straight into the current account and deal with it as part of your bank reconciliation process. Deposit account is there, it's very rarely used. Again, direct debits, we post them in there, but they could also go directly into the current account. Unallocated funds again is another strange one. In here we attempt to mirror what happens in QuickBooks and Sage, so that when you receive checks they normally get posted to unallocated funds until such time as somebody actually physically takes them to the bank and pays them in. And this is just a method of tracking where the checks are within your club, within your system. If you're on the ball, you'll take them daily or maybe once every 2 or 3 days to the bank. If you're not on the ball, you may hand them to somebody else who may have them lurking around in a drawer or at home for a few days before they finally get around to going to the bank. So this is one way of keeping track of that. Credit to accounts is a quirky one. It's designed there to cater for the occasions when somebody, a member, purchases something on behalf of the club, and rather than accepting a payment for it, they just say, "Oh, stick it into my flying account." Although that's kind of to be discouraged, it happens all the time. We have to cater for it. Technically, they are purchase ledger items. Free Flight is not a purchase ledger; it's a sales ledger. So when you will see in the main admin section there is a facility to credit a member's account, which doesn't affect the bank account in any way, but we have to store it somewhere. So we store it into what is technically a pseudo account. The treasurers can pick up on that credit to account at the end of the reporting period and handle them accordingly in the purchase ledger. Again, cash payouts is a seldom used one, but let's suppose that you have a member who resigns, they've got money into their account and they request a refund of their account. We've not been able to convince them they should make it a donation to the club. They really do want the money back. So we handle that with a negative payment, but we post it to cash payouts rather than the current account, just in case you use Sage or QuickBooks to generate the check payment or to generate the backs payment, and it's just purely to avoid double accounting for certain transactions. Gift certificates again is another strange one, and it's designed really for the startup period of Free Flight. There will almost inevitably be vouchers that you've sold previously out in the big bad world that haven't yet been redeemed, and again it's important that we don't double account for those. You've already sold them, you've already had the money's already been accounted for in the bank account, and it's been accounted for in your Sage or QuickBooks, and it's important that we don't enter the payments again, otherwise it's going to screw the bank balances up. So whenever we get somebody with an existing old voucher that comes to fly it off, then we mark it as having been paid via a gift certificate. In other words, they've come to fly, they've handed you the voucher, and you record the payment as having been received, and the payment is a gift certificate. The gift certificate is also useful for handling third-party voucher sales, like the BGA, Virgin, Into the Blue, Acorn, all those kind of people, where you don't actually receive the payment for the voucher until you've claimed it back from the third-party voucher company. So again, when somebody comes to redeem one of those vouchers, the payment method is gift certificate, and at some point the office will generate an invoice to the third-party company, and that just behind the scenes generates a whole new set of transactions for the third-party company, so that we can keep a track of how much they owe us and when they're due to pay us. So those are the bank accounts in a nutshell. You may want some more. Feel free. If you want to add a new bank account, just simply click the create button there and go through the process. I'm not going to show you how to do that today. It's fairly straightforward. Okay, so those are bank accounts. Now let's take a look at another thing. Before I show you this, I'm going to nip back into the office menu and show you what happens when we actually want to apply a payment to a member. So we're going to enter a payment from a member into the system, and obviously you're going to need to type in the name of the member that you're applying the payment to. The type is assumed as payment, and the payment method then is a drop-down box, and the payment methods are cash, check, backs, debit card, credit to account, which is that special one we talked about, PayPal, credit card, direct debit, or gift certificate. All fairly straightforward. You may have some more. More importantly, you may want to determine what happens to those payments. Let me just try and go back to the finance section and explain what I mean. So we'll just nip back over here, and we'll go to the bank accounts, and now we'll look at payment methods. Close your ears while I cough. So we have a payment method of cash, and this payment method is telling us that whenever we apply a payment method of cash, it will put it into the petty cash bank account. When we receive a payment by check, more and more infrequently these days, but we will put it, rather than putting it into the current account, we'll put it into unallocated funds. And there are facilities within FreeFlight to do a bank reconciliation and move those to the current account once they've appeared on your bank statement. Backs payments, well, we don't normally put those onto FreeFlight until we actually see them appear on the bank statement. Keep in mind, this is the bank statement, this is not within Sage. So the backs payments, once we've applied them into FreeFlight, we can say that they're already going into the current account. Same with debit cards. The credit accounts go to that special pseudo account we talked about before. PayPal, in our case, goes into the PayPal account, and when we draw some down to the current account, we will put a move money transaction in. You may have spotted it in the menu here, move money around. That allows us to take it from PayPal and stick it into the current account. Credit cards, we don't bother with those. We stick them straight into the current account, and we look after them once they appear on the statement. And similarly with direct debits and gift certificates, that quirky one I told you about, that goes into the special gift certificates bank account, so that at the period end you can pick up on those, and it's a reminder that they don't affect the bank balances, because otherwise that will screw the balances up. So let's assume that you have a different payment method. Let's suppose that you've set up maybe a facility within WorldPay, RBS WorldPay. So let's click on payment methods and add a new one, and we'll call this one WorldPay. I've got my caps lock on, I do apologise for that. Let's go back and do it again. I've still got my caps lock on. Why was that? That's because I hit the tab key. That's better. So WorldPay, and we haven't got a bank account set up for WorldPay, So we'll just tell it we're going to put it straight into the current account, and we'll deal with it when we get the bank statements, and we then work within Sage. So we'll click on Create, click on Close. Let's go back to the Office menu, and let's go now and enter payment from a non-member. And I'm not going to enter the payment, but I just wanted to show you that WorldPay has now appeared in the payment method list, and it's at the top, WorldPay. Okay, so those are bank accounts, those are payment methods. In the next tutorial we're going to look at the various revenue analysis codes and show you how you can add additional revenue codes to suit your particular needs. So that's all for this tutorial. Speak to you again very soon.